What up? How y'all doing
What's
this evening?
what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the FILA Sports Podcast. That's the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Hometown guys talking hometown sports. It's your boy Coach Mario and my co-host Don. What's going on, Mike?
What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Glad y'all can join us this Sunday evening. It's a great week for Atlanta sports. I don't know if y'all ain't excited, cause I am. We finally beat the Dodgers in the series. This ain't happened since what, almost 10 years ago, I believe. That
Dang, for real? Been that long?
yes, I think we haven't really beat the Dodgers in a series since I want to say two. It had to been when Bobby Cox was here. I think.
Whoa! I'm gonna have
I
to check
think
that out when we
I
get on
may
the
I may
podcast.
be wrong. Either um Cox was here or when we had Freddie.
Dang.
I know we haven't won one with Snick.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Cool. So,
but yes, I'm excited. And we're gonna be talking about some Atlanta United. You already know I gotta have my cup, you know. Yes. But anyway, if you're new to the channel, you guys already know what to do. Hit us up, subscribe to our channel, please. We on the road to 300. We're gonna get there hopefully by the end of this month. Um, please hit that like button. Please share this content with other Atlanta sports fanatics, and also hit us up in the comment section, and we'll get back with you with your comments. As always,
come holla.
at your hometown
Hometown
sports
Sports
podcast.
Podcast. That was
Uh,
supposed to be my little play on goal. I don't know if y'all got it or not. But anyway,
hey, the
yeah.
17s, they know what we talking about. They know what we
Okay.
talking
I
about.
hope they got it. I hope they got it. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have a special guest on. Everybody here in Atlanta, they should know this. They should know this man. I think this is our first time having on a radio host, I believe.
Mhm.
So, go ahead and introduce yourself, Joe.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. My name is Joe Patrick. I cover the Braves for 92.9 The Game, and I run a website covering Atlanta United called Dirty South Soccer. And yeah, that's pretty much all I do. Pretty much my life is consumed with covering those two teams, but it's a lot of fun. But thank you guys for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you. Yes, thank you for coming on. It's an honor to have you on. You
let, let,
know.
let me say that doing Dirty South Soccer and all this, like it's all kind of grassroots media stuff, and so I really respect what you guys do here. Just building something for yourselves, which is you know that's the best way to do it, in my opinion. You get the best fans, you get the best people following you, people who care. So really
Yep.
respect it.
Yep.
Thank
That,
you.
that,
We put a lot of hard work into this. Coach. Coach, what
Yeah.
you about to say, Coach?
nope. Nope. I was about to tell them that's what we're all about. Giving back to the fans and giving the fans a platform and giving, you know, talking hometown sports and hometown guys.
Exactly. The movement is growing, you guys. The movement is growing.
We
Forever I
had
love Atlanta.
278
Yes. Forever I love.
278 subscribers right now on our YouTube. I just checked.
Not even, yeah. But we're gonna grow in that department, and
Yeah.
we're gonna grow in that department also in our social media department as well. We growing strong. So if you either get with it or get ran over. Um, yes. So you know where you can find us at, you guys. It's above the description of the background. You can find us on Twitter at FILA_SP, Instagram FILA Sports Podcast. We also on Facebook at FILA Sports Podcast, and then you can also find our shows on Spotify. Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast.
Yep.
Also,
Yep.
follow our and subscribe to our good friends over there, Unintentional Grounded with Lieutenant Dan, Mad Mike Sports, Jazzy Jeff for Real Talk, Logan runs up rundown, and also follow the Real Pat Man. All of their links for their channels and their Twitter is in the description as well. So let's go ahead and get the show started, man.
All right, quick rundown in Atlanta sports. Friday the Dream dropped to Las Vegas 94-90, and Phoenix. I'm confusing these scores. Help me out, Don.
Phoenix 77, Atlanta 68.
All
Oh
right, that
no,
was today.
no,
That was early.
that wasn't okay. Yeah, one game was early this week, and then the other game was
Yes,
Friday. Yeah, we
yes.
haven't. Yeah,
Uh,
we ain't won. Look, we ain't won. We ain't won either game. Like I'm literally to the point now. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna still show love to the girls, man. You know,
of
because I'm pretty
course.
sure they working their heart they heart out. But you know, I know I talked to Devontae. Shouts out also to Devontae,
Mhm.
Cookie by Nature on Twitter. He's a real supporter of Atlanta Dream and Atlanta Hawks. But I told him earlier, it's the coaching for for these girls, these talented girls went losing all these games. It's the coaching. The coaching has failed them, and they might just need to look after this season, find them another coach. That's just my
Mm.
opinion. So,
Well, on to a better note, what the Braves do.
all right, Tuesday we played the Mets,
Hmm.
and we won that game 5-3. Wednesday, we won that game 6-4. Thursday, yeah, our bullpen pretty much let us down in that game as usual. We lost that game 10-8, and then Los Angeles came in town on Friday. They beat us 8-3, and we just thought, oh man, we was gonna lose this. We was gonna lose this whole. We gonna get swept by them. But yesterday the boys, especially the bullpen, they did a great job yesterday holding the lead, and we won that game 4-3, and then today we won the game 5-3.
Hmm.
So,
Yep.
the team put Enter Inciarte on the injured reserve list. We don't know how long he's going to be there. Some reports say 10 days, could be longer than that. Um, it's just not a good time for our players to be going out because we already got Dansby and we also got not Duval, but we also got Austin Riley. Both of them
Hmm.
out for the rest of the year, and we trying to make a playoff run. We need our soldiers, man.
Hmm.
So we signed Andy Hecheria. Um, look, man, I can't pronounce these names, man. Hey, what's his name, Joe?
Don't ask me.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, Echevarria, I guess, or
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
We all say it a different way. We all have our own unique ways of saying it, you know. But
HO.
he's
yeah,
actually been pretty good. He's
yeah.
actually been pretty good.
Yeah, I know he was good. Yeah, I saw the game on yesterday, and he did well in that game. We sent Camargo down to AAA, so he's at Gwinnett right now. Don't know how long he's gonna be there. Probably for the rest of the year. And then Acuna, man, this man been playing out his mind. Not just hitting the ball, but defense, man. Y'all saw that catch he made the other day,
Hmm.
man.
Uh, did you hear about what happened today?
Yeah, I
Oh yeah,
did.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. He's
Yeah.
and Snit did a good. He did right by benching him. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes players and he's still young. He gonna get big headed sometimes, thinking that some players think they bigger than the team sometimes. You know, and hopefully, when the Marlins come to town tomorrow, he'll have his head on right and he'll be in the lineup. So
Yeah, I think he will. I'll just add some context here because I was in the clubhouse after the game today, and Acuna was like just taking it like a man, really. You know, just saying like totally owning up to it, saying that it was his fault, and you know that he wouldn't let it happen again. So
That's
that's
what's up.
exactly what you want to hear. You know,
Exactly right.
yeah.
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 Well, since you was there, let us know what else you heard. Hey, we'll sit back and we got a little time to
uh,
kill.
yeah. I mean, well, it was very different today because of all that happened. You know. But I thought Snicker was very upfront about it. The thing that I was worried about when it happened was just like it was how Ronald was going to react because you know some of that the thing that he got pulled for today. If anybody didn't see it, he kind of like held his bat up in the air for a while and kind of started walking to first when he thought he'd hit a home run and it went off the wall. And you know, I think that like that's what makes him fun. You know, like that's what like those histrionics and stuff is
Mm-hmm.
kind of what fuels him to an extent. So you don't want to like stifle that. You don't want to like take that away from him completely. But it was good but he also needs to run. He needs to do his end of the bargain for the team and try to do everything he can to help his team win. My theory is that, and I think I'm right on this, is that he wants to be on first base so he can steal, so he can go for this 40-40. And
That's the way we justify things, huh?
yeah, against the Mets, he hit another one off the wall, that chop house wall, that brick wall in right field, and he held that one for a single as well. And like, if anybody here knows Acuna, like he always wants to stretch it, go the extra bag. And it was very interesting to see him just, when it seemed like he had plenty of time to at least try to get to second. He was like, "No, I'm going to stay back." And then, of course, today, after he hit that one off the wall, he tried to steal immediately. He tried to steal second and got caught stealing at second. So I don't know. It's interesting, but it was good. I think it's kind of these last two series are being underplayed because the Mets had won like 16 of 17 games or something coming into the series against the Braves, and the Braves took 2 of 3.
Super hot. Yeah, we had talked about that about a couple weeks ago. We did a Brave show. They were super hot. Yeah.
Yeah, and then to beat the Dodgers, that's 2 really, really good series wins for the Braves.
Yeah. All right. Moving on, we had the Hawks. NBA season schedules were released the other day. The Hawks will play in prime time twice. We have October 31st, a Halloween game, and we have a December 10th Halloween against the Heat, and December 10th against the Heat. Both of them prime time. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah. Let me say something on this, okay? First off, why are we having 2 primetime games against the same opponent?
I guess it's a division game, but why the Heat? They aren't sexy.
But okay, and then they trying to throw us a bone. Okay, cool. And second thing, this is where I'm getting heated at. Who about to watch a game on Halloween?
What day of the week is Halloween on this year?
It don't matter. Look.
You going trick or treat? Wait. You going where?
Doggone Skippy. Doggone Skippy. Yes. I'm gonna get me. Look, I'm gonna get my Twix, my Almond Joy. I'm getting all.
I hope you're getting it from Family Dollar, not from your neighbor's house.
Look, hey, I have a pass. I got kids, so
Devo in this neighborhood.
No, I got kids, so I just take some of their candy because they don't need all that. I'm trying to
exactly.
Kids, brush your teeth, stay away from the candy. If you see some candy, just give it to an adult because you don't want your teeth rotting out. I done had 4 root canals. So
my youngest will be 13 this week. He still goes trick or treating, but all my kids know 10% of your earnings are mine. When you go trick or treating, turn in 10% to dad. So
you nice. I get at least 35 or 40%.
Oh, you a bad agent.
If I gotta do all that walking stuff, hey, you gotta give me some candy. But anyway, but back to the Hawks thing. That's crazy. We got a game on the awkwardest night of the season. Everybody's gonna be out. All right, but oh well, at least we have 2 primetime games. I know a lot of people complained last year because I don't even think we had. Well, we only had 1 last year.
I think 1.
Yeah. Yep. So now we got 2. If we play well again this year, guess what? They're gonna have to give us some more. So this is half glass full, never half glass empty. All right. Moving on to the Falcons. So y'all know we had a preseason game Thursday against the Jets in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We lost that game 22-10. If you haven't checked out our halftime report show that we did Thursday live, and we also covered the whole third quarter. So go check that video out. My thoughts of the game. Offensive line, they didn't do well, but it's just chemistry. They got to get that down packed. Don't hit the panic button. Only thing I'm upset about that we came away with a lot of injuries. In that game.
Not serious though. Not seriously.
Well, if we sign cornerback Jalen Myrick from Jacksonville and we got rid of Stephon Anthony, That's a telltale sign that Sheffield injury might be serious than we think it is.
Mm.
Cause in
Yeah,
the
you're
injury,
right.
cause in the injury
Yeah, you're
report,
right.
yeah, in the injury report, everybody's day to day. Gage is day to day with his hip, KZ day to day with his ribs, and Sheffield they don't have any like timetable on him. We have a timetable on McGarry. McGarry's going to start individuals again this year. I mean this week.
Mm-hmm.
And Sombrello, he also hurt himself as well with his shoulder, and everybody, he's getting the Vic Beasley treatment right now, or saying no, he sucked. Sombrello doesn't suck, you guys. Just go back and watch the film. Just go back and watch. Go seriously. Just go back and watch the film, and you got to think about how the Jets game planned a preseason game. We did not game plan this game. All right, Ty Sombrello will be fine, you guys. He will be fine. All right. Um, what else? My highlights of the game. I think Olsen did well. He ran the ball well. Um, Edo Smith, of course, he's our second running back in the depth chart. If anybody think anything different, I don't know what to tell y'all. Our receivers they did well, and I think Sanat did okay this week with the reps he took. I think Sanat did well. So also we traded Eric Saubert to New England for a conditional 7th round pick. The way he playing up there, and the reports, we may end up getting that 7th round pick back from Eric Saubert. So, and we also signed former Patriots Danny Edley. So, and also he's going to get some. He should get some play time this Thursday against the Redskins. So, because Matt Sims hurt too, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Matt Sims hurt. So Danny Edley, he's probably going to be practicing with the third stringers. So.
We already went over the injuries. College, some kind of way. Sam Pittman does it again. UGA signs a 4-star center, Cedric Van Pran Granger, but I think Cedric Granger is more what he goes by. He's a 4-star center from Warren Eastern High School out of New Orleans. I'm not sure if any of you guys have been watching QB1. It was just came out yesterday. The guy LeJarn is from Warren Eastern High School, popular high school in New Orleans, and he's committed to the Bulldogs again. So that gives Sam Pittman 5 O linemen commits, all 4 or 5 stars for this year, and this man is a master. Really quiet on the other colleges. Everybody's in camp right now, looking to see who Georgia Tech is going to name as a starting quarterback. No, it won't be Yates. They're probably going to redshirt him. Other than that, pretty quiet on the college scenes. Next Saturday, the first game. Then 2 weeks after that, everybody gets started. Georgia Tech on Thursday, and everybody else that following Labor Day weekend. And that's pretty much on the college take, Don.
All right. Okay.
And,
Go ahead. What you
and
gonna
that
say?
brings us. I say that brings us to the topic of tonight.
Atlanta United.
Yep.
Yes. All right. So, in case you guys don't know, there was a match. There was a match play, a championship match. The said it's the Campones.
The Campeones Cup,
Campeones.
the
Yes.
Spanish word.
Campeones. I've been calling them the Capones for some reason. I don't know. Campeones. Campeones Cup. So the Campeones Cup was played Wednesday in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and we played Club America from Mexico, and we won that match 3-2, and we are the 2019 Campeones Cup champions. All right. Also, we got a game today against Portland. What's this score in that match?
It starts at 10.
Yes,
Starts at 10 o'clock
it's
tonight.
later.
Oh yeah, I
Yes,
forgot they play in Portland.
West Coast. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I may end up going to sleep. I may watch a little bit of it, probably fall asleep before the second half start. So, this is the team's first international cup win. And we are the first MLS team to win the Campeones Cup, which I think it started in 2018, right?
Yeah. It It just started last year, so this is only the second one. And basically, all it is oh, it's just one game between the team that won MLS Cup versus the Mexican champions. So it's just like the best team from each league plays each other.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's a big deal. That we won that. So, what's your thoughts on this, Joe?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a really big deal because I think a lot of things that or something that a lot of people don't realize is that the Mexican teams actually can spend a lot more on the players. Um, MLS has a salary cap, and there's all kinds of other restraints, but basically you can only like spend unlimited amount on three guys. So for Atlanta United, that is Ezequiel Barco, Joseph Martinez, and Pity Martinez. And Mexican teams can spend unlimited on all their players. So, they have the ability to spend a lot more than MLS teams. And so, I think for that reason, it's a very strong win. It's a big statement from the league that, its best team can go toe to toe with, Liga MX's best team. It's probably, MLS is not as deep from top to bottom. It's like comparing the SEC to like the Pac-10 or something. You might be able to compete at the top. You can't quite compete at the bottom. But I mean, overall, it's still like for Atlanta United fans especially. It's really important. I think. And I was in the building, and it was like the atmosphere was electric. I mean, it felt like a big game. It was probably one of the most fun games to cover. And I've been covering basically every game of this team so far since they played. So it was really fun.
I think like from what I would say, Joe, I had been a novice. Well, not even novice. I hadn't been a soccer fan before Atlanta United, so I'm just getting into it. And
Right.
I do enjoy watching them play, and I'm learning more.
Right.
As what I saw on Twitter and reading, for people who seem to be a little bit more into to me, it seems like it was more validation. Like last year, winning MLS wasn't a fluke. Like, hey, we're really good. Look who we beat. Am I correct in thinking like
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Because, like, when you're only playing teams from the same league, it's kind of hard to really know how good you actually are compared to these other teams. Soccer is such a global sport. It's like you've got an NFL or an NBA. Imagine there being like an NBA and then like, all these different leagues in every other country. You kind of want to know, even if you're the champion of your league in your own country, you want to kind of see if you could beat the teams from around the world. So I think that's something that this club has always wanted to do, and this was like the first time we've had one of the first times we've had an opportunity to do that.
So this was the CFL champion beating the NFL champion.
Yeah.
Maybe there we go.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I got to say, by the way, so I cover soccer, and I was not always into soccer. I played high school football growing up. Like I didn't play soccer growing up. I really only got into the sport like 9-10 years ago, something like that. So I haven't I'm still pretty new to it in general. So I like the idea of just kind of talking about it, so that everybody can understand it. I actually, when I started watching it, I kind of actually related it a lot to basketball. I played basketball before I gained weight for football, pretty much.
Okay.
And I always kind of that's just the watching how players moved, watching how they try to find space, create space for their teammates, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. For some reason, it kind of triggered with me. It just kind of, I don't know, understood it.
My thing is, I actually have to give Don, because since the Atlanta United, I've been saying I want to go to a game. Me and my wife been saying I want to go to a game. Been saying it, haven't gone. So I have to give Don credit. I'll be going to my first game in about a month, and that's done. Like, hey, we're gonna go, and I'm like, yeah.
You just let the cat out the bag, man. We was gonna talk about that towards the end, but it's fine. We go.
You didn't tell me it was a secret.
Look, it's fine, man. It's fine.
Okay.
I was gonna add that to the end, but yeah, it's cool. But yeah, we go be in there on September 21st. But we'll talk a little bit more about that towards the end of the show, because we got more details. We're gonna be working with some people. We're gonna try to do hopefully get a documentary going, as far as the tailgate thing. But we'll talk about that towards the end, man.
Nice.
The thing I was gonna say though is, man, I love the passing. like some of those passes that I see that go 20 plus 30 yards and they curve the ball, and I mean they will put it right in front of a guy in stride. Man, I'm amazed that a guys can do that with their feet, and I can't wait to see it live. You know, yeah.
Yeah, for
The
sure.
the only
That
live soccer game I've ever seen is like bad inner city high school soccer, which is terrible.
yeah.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys will enjoy going to the game so much. It
But Don has
is.
been.
I've
Yeah,
been.
Oh,
Don
I
has been
Yeah,
already.
I've been
Yeah.
already. I've been to the
you know
Chicago. I've been to the Chicago Fire game back in June, and oh man, I loved every second of it.
I
I'm
know I'm a
talking.
little.
I'm talking about the
Yeah.
tailgating experience. Everybody's friendly. Everybody, want to hang out with you, give you something to eat and drink. And then the
Okay.
game, like no one. I ain't see nobody on their phone texting, tweeting. None of
hmm
that. Everybody, like, no one was in the concession stands. Everybody was on their feet watching the match the entire time. That's what I love. That's the passion that I love. And I said, you know what? I'm going again. Next year, I promise you, I'm going to go to at least 4 matches next year.
Joe, I got to tell you, college football is my absolute favorite sport. I'm a huge UGA fan. That's the same game, same weekend as the Notre Dame game. I could go to the Notre Dame game, but I can go to UGA games anytime. I really don't even want to deal with the traffic of Notre Dame anyway. I'm sacrificing a Saturday of college football to go see Atlanta United. So that anybody who knows me know that's huge.
that's
That's huge for me. Like incredibly huge.
that's commitment. Hey, I gotta say, that's a good point that Dom made because about not people not being on their phones. I feel like it's because, or it's got to be because there's not breaks, there's not like commercial breaks or timeouts or anything like that. So
Yeah.
it just kind of so like you don't. I mean, and there are slower parts where you can like not pay as close attention when the ball goes out of bounds or whatever, or when there's an injury or something. But like in general, the game is just going on, and you kind of I think a lot of people probably like forget they're not looking at their phones. Like they're just like kind of consumed by the game. And the other great thing about soccer, I gotta say, is that it's going to be 2 hours. It's not going to go any longer. It's not going to be any shorter. It's going to be exactly 2 hours. So you can kind of plan your day around that, at least, especially if you're just watching on TV or something. It's like you're not going to have extra innings or have sometimes football games can go really long. Especially feels like the more serious the football game is, the more stoppages and
Yeah.
just the longer it takes. So 2 hours, nice little window there.
Yep. And,
Yeah.
like I said, after that game, we can go hit up a bar downtown and watch the Bulldog game.
That's right. Yeah.
That's gonna be our official for. That's gonna be our homecoming week. Forever I Love Atlanta Sports homecoming week right there. Like we gonna do a lot of stuff, but details coming soon, you guys. Like I said, I don't want to give out all the details and everything, but all that stuff coming soon. But
Let me know when you guys are going, and I'll see if I can come meet you guys.
oh yeah, of course.
What's September 21st?
September
Saint
21st.
San Jose going game. That's the
Okay,
game we're going to.
We got the
cool.
tickets. Only thing we need to do now is figure out how we go get there because we don't know if we go drive or we go catch an Uber or we go catch
Oh
a
well,
train.
I drank, so I'm gonna catch a train. I already know
Yeah,
what I'm gonna do.
I
I'm
plan
gonna
on.
catch a train.
Yeah, I plan on just catching the train. I may just take an Uber there and then catch the train back. We'll
Yeah.
see.
When I went, so I got my press credential for the first game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So all the games at Bobby Dodd, I or I was there as a fan. I was there in the seats.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I think taking a train is great because you don't have
Yeah.
to worry about any of that stuff. And at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it takes you right there. So
Yeah.
And
And
Lyft
it's
is
just
horrible. Lyft is horrible, by the way, guys.
yeah.
If you're trying to take Lyft from the stadium, say for instance you the match is done and you trying to take Lyft home, don't bother because they are like raggedy. They're raggedy.
Yeah.
I sat there. I remember when I went to the match on June 1st or 2nd, I believe. Yeah, I sat outside for a whole hour and a half. I'm saying I could have just walked back to Summer Hill and been. I could have walked back serious. I could have been back in Summer Hill for like 30
Yeah.
minutes. Like for real, all you
Well,
had to do cross over by Castleberry and cross over
yeah.
Medania Glen. Boom. I'm cross over Mechanicsville. Boom. I'm right back in Summer Hill. That's a 30-minute walk. But I sat out there for an hour and a half waiting for a ride.
Well,
I
I
had to call.
feel
I had to call Uber. Uber's not even a sponsor with Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's Lyft. I hate Lyft. I don't like Lyft.
I live right on the Stone Mountain Snellville line, so catching the train to any of the stadiums is just better for me. Easier. I don't have to worry about paying for parking or parking, so it's just always easier for me. And then, like I say, I can just, it's just easier for me. So I always catch the train anytime I go to a game. Actually, Tech, Tech too, Tech. But any game I go to, I always catch a train.
Except for the Braves, you can't catch no train with the Braves. You got to actually drive.
Yeah.
They messed that up. So I miss them being at Turner Field. I could just park at my mama's house and just walk across the street to the stadium.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, we're gonna be there on September 21st, Joe. Just we'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
We're gonna have our official Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast T-shirts on and everything, so you can't really miss us. So.
Nice.
Okay. So, what is the next big thing coming up for Atlanta United? Do we have another Cup series coming up before we get to the playoff runs? What's the next Cup to come up?
Yeah, so they're in another Cup final, the U.S. Open Cup, which is when is that game? It's in like a couple weeks.
It's 9 days away.
Okay.
It's 9 days away. So my question is, like, can we win the treble this year? Treble is like a club that wins 3 titles, 3 cups. So we already won the Campeones Cup, and we also won the MLS Cup. So winning the U.S. Open Cup, that's 3 cups. That's 3 cups in under a calendar year, you guys. Because we won the MLS Cup back in December.
Yeah.
So that'd be like 9 months apart, I believe. Yeah, 9 months apart. Wow.
Yeah. But I don't know if it would, like, the MLS Cup that they won would not be considered in this one because it was last season. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So maybe it would be the Tiger treble. The Tiger time where he won 4 consecutive majors, but they weren't all in the same season. So I guess it would be like that. But I think that Atlanta United could win MLS Cup again. I mean, things looked not so great like, a month or so ago, but they've really been turning things around. And the players, I think, are very much on board. The players and the coach are very much like, together now on the game plans going into games, and they just keep looking better and better every week. The difference this year, though, is that the team LAFC out in the Western Conference, they're the favorites. Like last year, Atlanta United was the favorites. We had the best team. We were, Vegas picked us to win. And that's not the case this year. There's a better team out there. So that's a little interesting. But I got to say, Atlanta just keeps on getting better and better as the season goes on, as I said. So I think by the time they get there, if they do get there in MLS Cup and they do play LAFC, I think they got every chance to win it. It would suck, though, because they wouldn't be able to host it like they did last year.
For the novice fans like me, Joe, if you could you rank the cups and prestige?
Yeah. So I think the one that is above all is called the CONCACAF Champions League.
Okay.
And it's basically so it's like the tournament that involves all the teams in North America. So you've got teams from United States, Mexico, Canada.
Okay.
I know Central American teams. So that would probably be the number one, because if you win that, you then are entered into the Club World Cup. So the Champions League, there's one for every region. So if, like, let's say if Atlanta had won it last year, then this year they would be playing in the Club World Cup alongside like Liverpool, because they won the Champions League in Europe. And then like all the other teams. So that's why the CONCACAF Champions League is probably the hardest and most prestigious to win. Behind that is MLS Cup. That's just the biggest trophy in the league in MLS. There's another one that now some people would argue that, because there's another trophy called the Supporter Shield that goes for the MLS team that's regular season record. And that one's probably harder to win, because you have to be the best team over the course of the entire season, Yeah,
Red Bulls won that last year.
They did. They beat Atlanta had a chance to win it. Atlanta should have won if they would have won that last game, and they lost. Yeah, so Supporter Shield is like harder to win, and some people will say that for that reason, it's the most. It should be like it's the biggest trophy that you could win in MLS. But let's be realistic. Like MLS Cup is the one that has the biggest TV presence. The biggest media presence. When it happened last year, there was this. They brought like everybody in the league. They set up at headquarters downtown, and like it was a big deal. But those are the big two, and then you've got the U.S. Open Cup, which is the one we're playing in 9 days. That's just like a tournament involving all American teams that runs concurrently, like while the season is going on, while the regular season is going on. You're also playing in this other tournament. It's one of those weird things about soccer.
Yeah, here's my thing about the MLS Cup last year when it was here in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I really think us hosting it and us winning it, it really put MLS on the map. Um, as far as TV revenue and bringing in more fans, casual fans, because we know Atlanta. You know this, Atlanta. We've been starving for a championship for a long time, and when they brought this club here to Atlanta, I think it was created in 2014, 15, I believe.
That was when it was announced. Yeah,
Yeah, that's when it
2014.
announced what MLS was going to spend to Atlanta. It was a lot of supporters, man. Like a lot of people talking about, "Oh, soccer's not going to last here. Y'all just lost the Thrashers." And I was saying, like, we really didn't have no business losing the Thrashers. Let's just call it a spade a spade. It's just the owners, they just didn't put all their heart and money into the Thrashers. They put all their money into the Hawks. All right.
Mm.
If it was owned by Arthur Blank, I'm pretty sure the Thrashers would have had 2 Stanley Cups by now. That's just my opinion. If y'all want to debate me on that, let's go. But but yes, but I knew because it was owned by Arthur Blank. The Atlanta United are owned by Arthur Blank, building a new stadium downtown. I was kind of the ones that was against playing inside of a NFL stadium because I was thinking like, okay, well, won't they just build a stadium somewhere like in Summerhill where the old Fulton County Stadium used to be at or something like that? Because you can have 2 stadiums in that area because it's nothing but parking lots. And they said that it was gonna work. 2017 rolled around. Bobby Dodd Stadium was packed. I ain't never seen it packed like that since Georgia Tech was thriving back in the early '90s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but yeah, no disrespect to Georgia Tech, by the way. I was just joking. But yes, but
Well, I was going to say, I think that it actually kind of helped them to be at Bobby Dodd Stadium before Mercedes-Benz because it wasn't like as big of a stadium. So it just made it. First of all, you just don't have the pressure to sell as many tickets, even though they did sell all the tickets they had. I just thought it was just a really cool way for the franchise to start out there. And I think like you're totally right about Blank. I think he's the best sports owner. I mean, I can't really speak for like other cities or whatever, but as far as my experience here, it's like living in Atlanta all my life, it's everything he does is just like top notch. And like when I go to the if I'm at like the Atlanta United training facility, like all the people who work there, not just like club people, but like people who are working the front desk and everything, like everybody is nice and friendly, and I think that it has a lot to do with just what Arthur Blank kind of expects and the way they bring people on.
Arthur Blank, when he first came, he said, "I'm going to make everything fan friendly, and the fan experience is going to be my number one, my number one thing that we're going after." And he's done, and he's opened up the purse strings, and he's done that. What he did with the Gulch down there. So right now, he did what you have to do. He won over the city. So right now, people are going to support him. So Arthur Blank has done it the right way, and people are pretty much going to support him because, like I said, he just got that following now. So shout out to AB.
And
maybe.
Go ahead.
Maybe. Well, I was just gonna say maybe that's the secret to business is just like give away $2 beers or whatever, and and people will love you.
Hey, I just interesting story I read today. Wrigley Gum started out as a soap company, and they gave away gum as a gift with the soap. And people like the gum more, so they started selling gum. Get the people what they want. You know what I'm saying? Give them what they want.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
yeah, but going back to what I was saying about the MLS Cup, it just
Yeah,
it pretty much put us on the map. It put us not just Atlanta United. It put the whole MLS on the map. Look at it. Now we just heard news that MLS is now going to be expanded to St. Louis. All right, and you know anything about like I stayed there for a good number of years, and it's a baseball town.
Yeah.
St. Louis get kind of the same rep like Atlanta gets. Oh y'all a college town, and like no, we support our teams. It's just if we don't win, people not going to show up.
yeah,
Atlanta's not a boring city. Okay,
Yeah.
there's other things for us to do here besides go to games. I'm just keeping it 100. Like it's not like Green Bay, it's not like Cleveland. You go to those cities, there's nothing to do but go to a game.
And also those teams, those cities have had teams forever, and your granddad and great granddad had season tickets. People in Atlanta, we haven't had teams that long, and your granddad didn't live here because people just moved here.
Exactly.
So they don't have that. I grew up a fan of this team. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that in Atlanta sports. I grew up a fan of this team because we're not as old as other franchises, and Atlanta's a transplant city.
Yes. So the league expanding to St. Louis. I think that's a good thing, not only for the city of St. Louis but for the league. Some people thinking that when they going to expand more in the South because Miami they getting a team, and
hmm
I think it's Tennessee, Nashville, something like that getting a team.
yeah. Nashville's getting one next year. Yeah,
Yeah. So that's go. Go. I'm gonna go back to that question in a minute. I think a guy by the name of Patrick. He originally asked this question, but I think Nashville getting a team. I think that'd be good for the
Yeah,
Southeast.
yeah.
No New
Hopefully another
Orleans.
rival.
No New Orleans. New Orleans don't need no soccer team. Like no,
We play some soccer too, baby.
please, whatever. Anyway,
I couldn't imagine trying to run around playing soccer in the swamp. Man, that would be rough.
alligators gonna be getting to the soccer ball, walking on the pitch and stuff.
Oh, the game's always gonna be muddy. It feels always gonna be muddy. All right, y'all gonna get us. Y'all gonna get me in trouble with my New Orleans people.
Let's go. Hey, go into the chat real quick before we go to the last two questions, man.
Yeah, man, we got Lex Zone 6 chimed in, and he said the Red Bulls didn't get a parade for winning the supporter shield. Just saying, you're absolutely right, Lex. And the boy Trey joined. What's going on, Trey?
What's up,
And
Trey?
Jonathan Post joined, and he said he just want even though it's soccer night, Jonathan said he just want AB to host an NFL trophy, and he deserves it so bad. I deserve it, Jonathan. I've been long suffering Atlanta Falcons fan. I deserve it, Jonathan. I deserve it.
Man, look, I told everybody it's coming, man. It's gonna be here in a few years. It's gonna be here in a few years. I really think the Falcons are gonna win the Super Bowl before the Braves win another World Series, before the Hawks win the NBA championship. It's happening. It's gonna happen soon. You just gotta be patient.
Man, what if? I mean, we won the MLS. Kirby and Georgia got it done. The Hawks got it done. I meant the Falcons got it done. The Braves won a championship. What if we really did all that this year, man?
In 1 year,
What if we really did all that this year? The Braves now. What if the Braves win it? The Braves and United win, and then the Hawks and UGA both hoist championships this year. I mean, I keep saying Hawks, the Falcons.
look, if that happens, man, I would do this. I would do a live stream of me shaving off my hair. Not just my hair on my head, but my beard, all that.
For how long?
I
Oh, because I'm
it's
saving all this info.
it's a live stream. It's a live stream. It's a live stream.
Oh, you gonna do it live?
I'm gonna do it live, but all the
Yeah.
teams got to win it. But I'm not saying that they not. I'm not saying it's gonna be a snowball chance of hell. But I'm thinking like I want them to all win. Trust me. Like any championship is good. I don't care if it's the Falcons or if Georgia Swarm wins another championship. You know how I am. I support every Atlanta. I supported every Atlanta team.
Yes.
Yes, collegiate wise, I'm a Michigan Wolverine fan, but I still support local colleges. So yeah. But anyway, so what do we need to do to beat Minnesota? Because we got to play Minnesota in the U.S. Open Finals.
Yeah. We've already beaten them once this season at Mercedes-Benz,
Yep.
so that's a good start to kind of just at least know you can win. I mean, to be honest, Atlanta United is a much better team than Minnesota. Like, they've just better players, better coach, better everything, really. So it feels weird saying that as an Atlanta fan. You always feel like you're like the underdogs in like any sort of championship situation, but like there's no reason Atlanta United should lose the game. If they lose, it would be a huge disappointment. They should win the game. I'm fully expecting them to do so. The tricky part about it is that just we've been playing so many games these last, not even 2 or 3 weeks. Like basically this whole season has been like 2 games a week, which is unusual. Most soccer teams play once a week. You just play on the weekends. So there's been a ton of games lately, but the good news is that a lot of the other teams around MLS have also hit a point in their schedules where they're also playing lots of games. So I think that shouldn't really play that much of a factor. And like I said, Atlanta United should win. Go out there and be confident, and they should beat Minnesota United.
I'm just glad we're not playing Portland for the U.S. Open Cup final, because it was in the semifinals. It was Minnesota and Portland, and Minnesota beat Portland. And I already saw when we won us, and I said, we got to play Portland again. You already know they're gonna be crying. They're gonna try to say every excuse. Oh, y'all filled the stadium up, and they should play at the neutral site. I'm saying to myself, if you win out, you can host it.
Yeah.
Stop whining.
Well, it'll be interesting tonight to watch because we're playing at Portland tonight. So I bet their fans will be giving our players an earful.
Yeah. And I was going back to the chat. Jonathan, I was just teasing you. He said that the reason he said the Falcons on soccer night is, one, because Arthur Blank already has an MLS, and two, he's more invested in the Falcons. Yeah, I agree with you. Jonathan, I was just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, Jonathan, man, you one of our all-time supporters, man. You like...
Hey, we got to give Jonathan and that Georgia boy shirt.
Yeah,
definitely. We got to get them a shirt. Yeah.
We'll talk about the shirt.
Yeah, we'll DM y'all too. Yeah.
But yeah, one more thing. Frank DeBoer, he made a comment before the game last Wednesday about women getting equal pay to men. And he pretty much disagreed with that, and he got a lot of backlash at that. What you guys think on that?
I was pretty surprised. I don't know about you. I was surprised to just hear him say that, or I mean, we didn't hear it, but just to read it. It was funny because I know the guy who wrote that story. It was for a European paper, The Guardian, but the guy who wrote it is local, and I know him. And I was talking to him about it, and he was like, "Yeah." When he said it, I couldn't believe it. So yeah, I don't know, just. It's what he thinks, and again, it's such a nuanced conversation. There's so much that goes into it. Like the whole thing is being like debated in courts and stuff. So it feels almost silly to try to like say like put out some definitive statement about it in a 60-second clip or even in a response to a journalist asking about it. But yeah, I don't know. It was surprising, but I after the game in the press conference, someone asked him about it, and he didn't look bothered at all. I think he didn't sound like he did apologize. I think for just the distraction that the comments caused, but I don't think he was apologizing for his belief in what he said. And so, he's just kind of a proud, confident guy, and he didn't really seem to be letting it affect him that much at all.
And here's my thing too. He's from Europe, all right. He's from Amsterdam. Like, people gotta understand, it's culture differences, all right. And in Europe, that culture, men is dominant, women is kind of supposed to be they supposed to submit to their husband or whatever. They're still that way in Europe, you guys. It's still that way in Europe. It's still that way in Asia and Africa. All right, here in the United States, we have advanced. Our society has advanced that women can make more money than men. All right, women have higher positions. They're shoot, we was this close to having a woman in the White House a few years ago. So you got to look at it from. I got sometimes I can't just be one dimensional. I got to put myself in other people's shoes and see how they look at it. And I've dealt with people, European people, a lot on different occasions. Like they still, lagging behind far as women getting equal pay and just other things as well. So
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say one more thing about De Boer, and that's a good point that you make, like his European background. I think also it's like in soccer, the way that a player gets traded or moves to a new team is via transfer, and they literally get bought for money. One club pays another club money for the player, and I think that reinforces probably a lot of ideas about capitalism and the way it works, which is it's a whole broader conversation. But like, if he has been literally like he was bought and sold for money from one club to another in his career, so you got to think that sort of plays into the way he thinks about how people should be compensated for their work. Because he was valued at a particular dollar amount based on his talent. So I think that probably plays into a lot of this stuff as well.
yeah. And we got
My
somebody in the chat, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Jonathan, he said that I don't believe you should get paid on gender, but you should get paid on how much you bring
One
in,
hundred
male or
percent.
female. The
Yep.
league gets in the money, the more they should get paid anyway. But
100%. I agree
yeah,
with that,
it shouldn't
Jonathan.
even be
Yeah.
about gender. It should be about if you
Based
play
on
at a
what you
high level,
produce.
you should get
Yeah.
paid this much.
You know.
Like
And
it shouldn't be off gender. It shouldn't be off race.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that is what De Boer said. He was like, "Hey, if I think he made a comment about like if you're a banker and if a woman is a better banker than the man, then she should get paid more because it's all about performance." So
Yeah.
I think it's just there are so many complexities to it, because he like the specific thing that they were talking about was with basically within the same organization of like the national federation, should they be paying their men and their women separate or equal amounts? I don't know, it's
hmm
just it's a complex conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at this. Go ahead. You got something to say, Coach?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
I'm gonna leave it like this here. U.S. women soccer team, they shouldn't get equal pay as the men's. They should get paid way more because they've been
Yeah.
winning championships for the past 2 decades, and the men, I don't know, have they ever won the World Cup? I don't know,
Mm-mm.
No.
but yeah, that's what. Yeah, so they should get paid way more than the men. So enough of the equal pay mess. Get those girls their money that they deserve for supporting our country, for going out there winning 3 or 4 World Cups within the past 20 years. Come on now. So yeah, I feel
Yep.
like they should get paid way more than the
I
men.
agree. It's funny because people in that quote, they were actually talking about in the Dutch policy. The Dutch, or in Holland, they just instituted this policy where the men and women should be paid equal, and that's what that conversation was about. Um, and that's different because the Dutch men are obviously like some of the best in the world, and the women are they just made the World Cup final.
hmm
But anyway. But I feel like a lot of people have taken it as the U.S. women when that's not what he was talking about. Anyway,
All right. So questions from the fans in the chat. Y'all got some questions? Send them our way so we can read them off because we're about to end the show. I got one question from Patrick S. He asked that is Orlando a rival to us? Orlando City.
It is a rivalry because as much as we want to talk about we own them, who do we jaw with the most? Who do we go back and forth with the most? So we might beat them, but if we talked about a rivalry, they are a rivalry because we have the most fun jawing with their fans their fans. We enjoy beating them more than we enjoy beating anybody else. So it is a little rivalry. We're just on the right side, on the correct side of the rivalry we want to be on right now. At least
Yeah,
that's my opinion. Yeah.
yeah, no, I agree. I think it's definitely a rivalry, and Red Bulls is obviously a big one as well.
Mm.
We beat them in the playoffs. They beat us in our first ever game in MLS, and those matches are always competitive, and they're very good. So it's a different dynamic, but I still think Orlando is also a rival, and I say that because you're right. The fans do like beating them, definitely. But the players like beating Orlando. The players love talking trash about Orlando,
Yeah.
and to me, that's what really makes a rivalry is when the players feel passionate about it. And so, yeah, I mean, like after we beat Orlando in the U.S. Open Cup, Joseph Martinez was immediately on Snapchat with eating a chicken wing, yeah, like trolling Orlando,
Yeah.
laughing at them. So, yeah, I think it's a rivalry 100%.
I
Yeah.
think it is too. In his, because a lot of people saying, "Well, we've been beating them. They haven't really won the game outright for us." All right, but you got to look at it like this here. I know people hate that I compare things to football, but it just is what it is. Saints for a long time was sorry. So when they first came in the league, because they came in the league right after the Falcons, we was whooping their tails for what 3 decades, 3 or 4 decades. All of a sudden, you know, um, Hurricane Katrina came, you know, washed out the old, in with the new. Champagne Drew Brees came to town, and they started winning. All right, and that's it made the rivalry. It heated up the rivalry. It heated up the rivalry. So I guess once Orlando City start catching their stride, probably in the next couple of years, and they go for MLS Cup run, it'll make the rivalry a little bit more intense. The rivalry is just not intense right now because we
Yeah.
have the upper hand, and they still looking on the outside looking in like, well, when are we gonna beat you guys, or when it's just they don't want to see us win anything. That's just what it is. They can't stop us, so they cheer for other teams that play us. So
Yeah.
that's all it is. So, but all right. Anybody in the chat? Anything else in the chat?
Nope. Pretty much. OMT had joined. He said he started at the beginning, and he just wanted us to know that. Yeah, Matt Sims was trash.
We
That
know.
was it.
We know. He won't be playing. I don't think he'd be playing Thursday. I think we'll um, see the new quarterback from New England. So
Yeah.
I didn't get to see the game, but I heard he was just like embarrassing to watch. Sims.
man.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also a little unfair. He hadn't been in camp real long
True.
anyway, so he hadn't been able to
True.
develop. So only thing you throw right now are outs and comebacks and things like that. But yeah, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all. Any of the crossing routes and things like that. I'm sure he ain't got the timing and the reads down yet, but you
Right.
know.
All right. Yeah.
But no, that was about it in the chat, Don.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you, Joe, for coming on, man. Um, can you share your information? Plug your information, please.
Yeah, I can. I would say first, if you're into Atlanta United or you want to get into Atlanta United, follow Dirty South Soccer. It's at Dirty South Sock SOC on Twitter, and then just dirtysouthsoccer.com. My personal is JA Patrick 200. You will never remember that, so don't worry about it. I made that handle back in 2008 when Twitter started. Man, it was like my Hotmail domain name or something like that. Anyway, yeah, and I guess that's about it. You can follow. Oh, and I cover the Braves for 92.9 Game, so follow 92.9 Game.
Also, speaking of 92.9 the game, all right,
Let's
Joe,
go.
Huh?
I said, let's go.
Speaking of 92.9
what's
the
up?
game, also, before I get into this, please let everybody know from Dirty South Soccer to subscribe to our channel. Because, we talk about
Yeah.
all Atlanta sports. We'll love the support from you guys. But 92.9 the game, I want you to send a message to my good old friend, Car Dukes.
Okay.
All right, so there was something that's happened back in June. All right, he said something. He aimed it towards our podcast about. It's about Vic Beasley, and on here we speak positive about our players. We speak positive about our teams. We speak positive about our city. And you know, a lot of people lately been bashing Vic Beasley because he's not having the success that he had back in 2016. So I made a comment about something about Vic Beasley, and he got upset. He got in his feelings, and so we went back and forth. And this man had the audacity to bring me up on Bell. Was it Dukes
Dukes
and
and
Bell?
Bell.
Yeah, Dukes and Bell.
Hmm.
Dukes. I don't watch that. I listen to nice. I try to listen to 92.9 again, but I don't listen to them too. I'm just gonna be real with them. But they brought my name up. They brought my podcast name up, and I asked him. I said, okay, you didn't even give me a chance to defend myself. You know, as a man, if you got smoke, if you got beef with somebody, say it to their face. Have them on the open forum, and let's talk it out. I asked this man, and I had the receipts. I said, look, anytime you want to come on Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast show, I will have you on. Long as it's not during the time I got to work, because guess what? I needs my money. But if it's in the evening, any day, we will gladly have him on the show, and we can finish this Vic Beasley conversation, because I did not get a chance to defend myself. This man was talking to 9 million people, probably more than that. 9 million people. He pretty much slandered my name, slandered my podcast name. All right, and we didn't get a chance to defend ourselves. So all the thing, I just tell him, when you see him at work tomorrow, when you go to the studio, tell him, hey, the done want to know when you coming on Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Tell him he can hit us up in the DMs. He can give me a day of time. Let him know it needs to be after 7:30 in the evening. I don't care what day it is. If he want to do it tomorrow, we can do it tomorrow. But I need to know, and I need to know soon, because it's been 2 months.
Damn. Yeah, that sounds. I'll let him know.
It's been 2 months, and I like I said, I ain't got no smoke with him. I ain't got no beef with him. It's cool, but I just, I didn't get a chance to defend myself at all, and that's all we wanted to do. I just want him to hear my side of the story about Vic Beasley and why they think, because they think Vic Beasley suck, and we got the stats to prove, and we got the film to prove that he does not suck. It just he played out of position the past couple of years. But that's another story for the other day. Just tell him to come holler at us.
I'll let him know.
Yeah, tell him to come holler at his hometown sports podcast, and he'll understand. But on this positive note, thank y'all for joining us tonight. We really appreciate the support, everybody in the chat. That Georgia Boy 17, you just got here. Where you going? You just got here, okay. But glad you could join us. Just rewind.
We're gonna make his shirt a small.
Anyway, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We on the road to 300. We're trying to get to 1K by the end of the year. So it ain't gonna happen without you guys. Also, please share this content with other Atlanta fanatics and hit that like button. And also, please hit us up in the comment section. And we'll get back with you with the comments at a later time. As always,
come holla
at your hometown
sports podcast.
So
go back and listen to the beginning if you want to get it.
All right. So but yeah. Also back to the topic. We will be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta United versus San Jose match, September 21st. We will be there early at tailgating. We also go hit up with our boy, good friend of ours, Jay Riddle. He is trying to work out an agreement to film us throughout the whole match experience and the tailgating. So it's gonna be a documentary. It's gonna be a short documentary. So
you hooked yourself up with a good guy. I know Jay pretty well. He'll do you right. He'll make a documentary.
Yes,
that's what's up.
Yeah, he said he gonna hook us up on that, and hopefully that'll go through well, and we
get some Beijing in the beer that weekend.
So
Beijing.
So it's gonna be good. So, but glad y'all can join us this evening. We appreciate y'all watching. Y'all have a good evening. We'll see y'all Sunday.
Yes.